What's up? Good morning, everybody. Welcome aboard to Trading Live with Bubba. It is Tuesday, February the 24th. Not much going on, kind of quiet. We had a lot of action this morning in our live day trading session this morning. And a nice sell in the Dow, a nice buy in the NASDAQ. So overall, pretty good day so far. Obviously, we're waiting for some action here, but it's very quiet. So what we're really seeing, if you really want to get a feel for what's going on, if you look at the major indices, they're really just in consolidation. Yesterday, we came down to the bottom. We're bouncing in the S&P. The NASDAQ is holding right in here. Again, you can see the sideways action, the Russell and the Dow. So everything is kind of in consolidation. The Dow was on the verge of breaking down yesterday, but again, you see it held. So it was not really a true breakout to the downside. And overall, the patterns don't look all that bad. I mean, again, I wouldn't be concerned here. Apple's having a nice little pop today, but there's nothing for us to do with Apple. Okay, it's really mid-range, not much going on. Amazon, which we thought to buy last week at 200. You're looking pretty good. Coin, again, notice the consolidation, 145 to 175. Not much to do. Okay, now certainly you could try to play those prices. I'm going to wait. I like a little bit more movement, and I like the chance for what I would expect to be a breakout. Crowd's been getting hammered. Certainly, we didn't get an opportunity this morning. I had mentioned last night on my Monday call that I was going to look to be a buyer. It already popped, so I'm not interested now. ETHA breaking down, but again, for us from an oversold, overbought spot, nothing for us to do. Let's just make sure we're not missing anything here. Again, we need a rally in gold to be a seller to about 51.84, so we need about a $15 rally. Need about a $25 rally in the S&P to be a seller right now. Now, again, those numbers will change as we slow down. You can notice that the bands are creeping in, so it takes less of a move. But right now, there's really nothing that is extended that says that I want to get involved. Okay, now we made this morning, as I said, we made about 7 trades this morning off the numbers. But again, right now, there's nothing for me to do, so I just have to sit back and be patient. Meta, nothing to do, right in the middle. Google, now you can see every Monday night I do a live call, and anybody here is invited. If you send me an email, I'll invite you. It's a free call. I just go through all the levels. So when you see all these lines that are already drawn in, they were drawn in as we've been trading, and that's when I assign levels like I do here. Okay, so you can see that we had, the bottom pegged in Google, INOQ. Really just consolidating. Again, when you look at it, you can just see that it hasn't been able to break out of that range. So, again, what am I going to do? IWM, we did go short this morning. And certainly, I think that's probably fairly reasonable. But again, only because it's making a little bit of lower highs here, but nothing great. Listen, I'm not in a hurry to do anything here. MP, again, looks pretty bad, but holding support. So you look at it like this, you go, okay, so there's a big move coming, and I want you to see this because we nailed this in gold the other day. We said there was a move coming out of here, and look what happened. It popped up pretty good. So again, just be aware of what your expectation should be based on the chart patterns, okay? That's what you're looking for, is where should you be? So let's just see if there's anything kind of developing and not really. Get a little bit of a rally, but again, we're just kind of in, we're with Peter Pan in Neverland right now. Microsoft is breaking down. Now, I'd be a seller of Microsoft. This is not what we do here, but if I were looking, I'd like to be a seller of Microsoft at 390. Okay, and take a short position there. MSTR just kind of hovering, not much to do in here. Netflix, again, holding support. NNE holding support. But I'm not interested in any of those right now. Okay, I'd more lean to the short side of the market. Now, full disclosure, I'm always long, I'm always hedged. Okay, so my core long-term portfolio, I never get out. I have a hedging model, which I teach. So again, I'm not getting out, but from a trading standpoint, I'm more trying to pinpoint some shorts right now. NVIDIA, there's nothing to do because you got earnings tomorrow. So we're not going to get involved there. Palantir has been getting pounded. Looks like it wants to break down again. I think the key level to watch here is 129. If it breaks down far enough below, then a rally back under 129, I would think would be a sale. But certainly I would like to look for a spot to get short there. QBTS, not much to do here. Now, typically I won't short $18 stocks. I'd be more inclined to want to be a buyer at 12 or 13. The Q's right in the middle of a range. What am I going to do here? Again, do I want to sell? I mean, certainly if you want to sell an iron condor, over the 620 and under the 600, you could look at something like that. Again, I don't do a lot of that, but that's a thing. SMCI straight sideways, no real action. And let's just go back and make sure that we're not missing anything. And we're not. Okay. So we'll go back here and look at some more potential opportunities. SPY. Certainly, if you wanted to sell some put spreads here, you could. I mean, it looks like it'll hold. Again, one of the things you notice with the lack of action is there's not as much to do. XYZ earnings tomorrow, I think. So, again, there's nothing we're going to do there anyways. Tesla's been under some heavy pressure, but notice how it held our support level. We're just churning between 105 and 115. XBI looks really pretty good. Certainly, I'd like to look to be a buyer of this if it would pull back into the 123, 124 area, reaching up towards a spot where I would consider selling some spreads, looking for it to stop, for the moment. XLE hovering. This is one I'd lean to the short side. I am short, full disclosure, I am short crude for a longer term trade. Okay. And I am short. Well, I was losing. I'm short from 66. Okay. So, and again, and some of the other stuff that I do, just to give you what I'm doing, I'm short the bonds from 118, and I'm looking to short the notes at 114. Okay, Bitcoin, I did get long this morning at 63,000. Okay, those are some trades that I have on. Some losers, some winners. If you do trade the dollar index, I don't actually trade it myself because you have to pay the COMEX, but we would be a seller at 98. You can correlate that to the euro currency, which would be a buy around 117. Okay. And then this is finish up these. XLE, and then Zoom has earnings tomorrow. Getting a little bit of a bounce today, but not much I would be interested in doing right now. So as we watch, again, we really just have to be patient and wait for the market to extend. What I'm looking for is for these bars to either go purple, which would mean I'd be a seller, or go blue, this kind of blue though, right here. Not straight blue, but this blue to be a buyer. And if I don't get either one of those, I don't trade them. And of course, this is a trade assist model. The trades will show you when the system's going to make them, it'll show you the trade. Now, I trade a little bit different off of the system because I'm faster and I don't want to wait. I'm happy to go ahead and take my chances because I'm going to continue to add to a position. So for example, I'm not making this trade, but if I would get short at the Dow at 49,265, I would sell another one at 49,285 and another one at 49,305 and then put my stop up at 49,365. Okay. So I'm going to add on if it keeps going against it, but I have no trade to make right now. So I'm not going to make a trade now, but I'm just giving you an idea. So when I call a trade, that's what I'm doing. I'm willing to take. Now I trade when I'm trading live with members or with you guys, I'm trading micros. So I'm trading 9 micros. So 3, 3, and 3 is my entry. Okay. When I'm trading regular without anybody, I'm trading 3 big ones. So it's the same as 10, 10, and 10. Okay. But again, I have no trade to make right now. So there's, I'm sitting here, we're talking. And certainly if you have any questions, always feel free to ask. I have no problem answering questions. And if you want to come on the Monday Night Call, as I said, you're always welcome and invited to come. It's about an hour. I go through all the charts. I go through all the futures and through all the stocks that I cover, which is a total of about 40 products. So you're always welcome. All you got to do is email me at bub@bubbatrading.com and say, hey, I want to come to the Monday call, and I'll be happy to invite you. But again, right now, we're just waiting for a reason to trade. I have no reason right now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch. Certainly, if you're someone who likes to gamble a little bit in the market, I think there's some relatively inexpensive plays. I think Mara is an inexpensive long. Okay. I would have no problem if you said, hey, I want to take a chance here. I mean, it's like a big option. Okay. I do own ZSL. I own it from higher. And unfortunately, the biggest risk on ZSL, which is short silver, is the threat of a reverse split. Okay. I bought it at the 240. It went up to, it actually got to 340. I sold some, but I'm still holding some. So, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback as the metals continue to churn within consolidation. So again, I'm looking for a little bit of a pullback here. Same thing for gold. But we'll see. Again, I'm not going to, I'm not doing anything unless I get a reason. That's the biggest lesson I can teach you is unless you have a reason to trade, don't trade. Okay. And again, always, as if you have questions, feel free to fire them in. But basically right now we're watching as they say, the proverbial paint drying right now, as we have a lack of overall activity. We have nothing really going on. So we'll sit here and watch and talk. And that's where, if you have questions, it comes in, because I got plenty of time to answer them right now. So, but right now, again, it either has to rally up or break down. And here, I got no trade. In this area, I got nothing to do. I got no interest. I got no reason to trade. So why bother? And that's kind of what we're waiting for. We're waiting to see. We had a trade in gold and crude a little while ago. You can see it, the buy, small winner. But right now, I got nothing. So we'll just sit out and hang around. And, again, I think you have to, one of the biggest lessons I can teach you is to be patient enough to wait and not force yourself into a trade. I think you got to stay away from your opinion, just like mine. I mean, we all have opinions. None are very good when it comes to what the markets are going to do. I think that's what you have to, be prepared toward too, is just let the market come to you and get a level that makes sense that you can trade off. And again, right now I have nothing to trade off. So I'm going to sit back and wait and talk to you, and we'll be here. But again, I do encourage questions if you have them. But I really don't have anything to share with you now to trade, because I'm not at any level that says that I should trade. Certainly, I'm going to look at from a longer term perspective, 6903 in the S&P. I would look to be a seller there. That's a different type of trade, but I would certainly look to be a seller there at 6903. We're about 8 points away or so, 7.5. So we'll see if that comes. But again, that's a longer term trade that I'm willing to hold on to. So I certainly wouldn't, again, I don't want to encourage anybody to do things that are out of your character, nor do I want you to put yourself in undue risk. So without a reason to trade, why trade? That's one of the things I always, tell everybody is, again, I got nothing to do here. It's got to give me, I need a reason to get involved. Okay. And at this point, there's no real, whichever side I take would be more of a guess. Certainly it looks like they want to try to break to the upside. So I could look at it from that standpoint. But again, I'm not overly interested in any of this right now. I'll just sit back and wait and see what happens. Okay. Again, this is just something that you have to be aware of in the market structure and be patient enough, because what we're trying to do is we're trying to pick off weaker traders that panic or puke. So now we're getting up closer to that potential 6903. And again, this is not necessarily for everybody. Okay. It's a trade that I'm looking at from a longer term perspective. Okay. And I'm willing to hold on to this if I happen to be wrong. Okay. So just be prepared. Again, I'm going to sell it there. If it gets there, I'm going to sell it there. But again, I'm going to be willing to hold it. And I have an exit point, which is much higher because I'm going to add to it at 69.13 as well. So, but for now, we just sit and wait and see if we can get something for short term here that we're in for 5 minutes. And whether or not that comes to pass, I don't know. I doubt it. But we will watch. We're ready if it should happen. But there's not, the volume is very, very sketchy in general. Okay. I mean, look at what happened to gold after all that big volume. It's got no volume. Look at the S&P, very little volume. So again, it's not much to really look at here or do here. So again, you got to be patient. You got to wait. And, again, you can call me a chicken, you can call me whatever, but I'll show you how to make money if you learn how to be patient enough to wait for it. Okay. But that's why we sell premium a lot when we're here. If there's something to sell, because it gives us opportunity to go ahead and deal with that. And I think that's something that's also important to learn and understand. So will we get something? I'm going to say there's a high probability no. But at any moment, you could get a big spike. So we'll be ready. I mean, NASDAQ, you need almost, right as it sits right now, the NASDAQ, you need almost 100 points. In the S&P, you need about 17, 18. So again, there's not much that I can do. I can't force it. I can't make it happen. I can only be ready when it does. And until then, hey, but is it better to watch and observe and not put your capital at risk that you have very low probability of winning? Or is it better to wait to put your capital to work when the probability is at your highest and it's your benefit? Always a very important question. Okay. And, again, certainly the S&P could have been a sale here. I did not and would not recommend it. But that, again, that's up against resistance, looking for a little bit of a pullback. But then you're trying to scalp out tiny little profits. And when you get too busy scalping with the cost to trade and everything else that goes on, your win percentage has to be awfully high to make a little bit of money versus waiting for much bigger triggers and much bigger tickets. So that's something that we have to be also aware of. So again, we'll watch. We'll see. I don't see it happening. I mean, I think you can see by the speed of this market right now that there's very little going on. Oh, all right. So there's nothing wrong with not trading. Making a decision not to make a trade is the same as trading. Okay. There's nothing wrong with not making a trade. But again, I do encourage questions if you have them. Certainly any questions welcome, whether it be options, futures, trade style, whatever you want. And I will invite you to the Monday call as well. All you do is email me at bubba@bubbatrade.com. And if you want to try every morning I send out another live update besides the Market 120 with a write-up called The Pulse of the Pit. It's got hot links to it of different stories that you may be interested in. So if you want to check that out, all you got to do is email me and let me know what you want, and I'll help you. I'll hook you up. So, but for now, looks like it's going to be pretty much of a big nothing. So I think we will call it a day. Remember, I do the Market 120 every day, every morning. Also, you get, I'll see you on Thursday. And until then, have a great day, everybody. I'll see you later.
You know how the financial world goes. Here comes the buzzkill. Please make sure to take some time to read this boring disclaimer. We will owe you one.